Excavation Profits Podcast by Excavation Marketing Pros. Interviews with successful excavation and septic business owners, revealing how they market and grow their business in today's economy. Hear directly from the most successful leaders in your business and discover what they're doing to keep their phone ringing, equipment running, and businesses booming. Now your host, Scott Andreasen.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's workshop on AI and how to dominate your local market using AI for excavation and septic contractor businesses. My name is Scott Andreasen with Excavation Marketing Pros, and we're going to go ahead and get started here in just a moment. We'll let people go ahead and start to come in. And if you're tuning in on other platforms, Facebook, YouTube, thank you so much. Want to give some shouts to Ammon, Chris. Thank you so much for joining. And I think we can go ahead and get started here right on time. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So this is Dominate Your Local Market Workshop, AI Strategies for Excavation and Septic Businesses. And just to make sure I have some audio, can someone type in the Q&A box, just give me a 1 to make sure that you can hear me okay? I'd really appreciate it. Just type a 1 in the Q&A box. And in case you're new to Excavation Marketing Pros, this is part of your 2025 Internet Marketing Plan for excavation and septic contractors. Cool, got some ones. You guys can hear me. Awesome. How to triple your sales by getting your internet marketing right. And every single month we do these trainings so you guys can grow your businesses and scale with the right systems in place. So if you're an excavation or septic contractor and you're scaling past $1 million in revenue, you're in exactly the right place. So who am I? Why should you listen to me? Well, I've got 15 years experience total in digital marketing. I've been invited a couple times for the NAURA Mega Conference last year, and then this year I'll be going out there for septic and wastewater professionals. That's out in Ohio. So if you're available, it's going to be 19th, 20th, 21st, I believe, and I'll see you out there. There's a picture of me in the bottom right at last year's event. I'm also a published author for our industry. I've published a couple books, Excavation and Septic Internet Marketing Profits, as well as a new one here, Excavation Septic Leads, your playbook for turning strangers into ready-to-buy clients. And as I said, we only serve excavation and septic businesses. So we have a very unique experience that if you're in this industry, which if you're tuning into this workshop, I would have to think that you are. We focus on industry-specific solutions for marketing, sales, and AI. And we've successfully launched hundreds of websites, marketing campaigns, proving what I'm going to show you really works. And there's a copy of the new book. So here's the reality for septic, wastewater contractors, excavation is competition is increasing locally. From, chucking a truck, so to speak, on up to bigger competitors. It's just never ending. And customers want fast responses and easy scheduling. And if you'll notice, a lot of businesses in the contractor space in general are shifting over to these self-service options where they're putting their pricing packages right on their websites. They're making it easier to self-book, to self-qualify, and really that's where we are headed. And I know that you're probably thinking, well, you know, I like to speak to people one-on-one and it's a very personal business. That's not going to change, but the initial way in which people are introduced to your business from the time they raise their hand of finding you online to that initial interaction, as you're going to see, AI is really starting to take that over. And then, of course, once you get into certain types of services like bigger high ticket services, the human touch is where that comes in. But from the get-go, that speed to lead, instant gratification style response is where we're at, because people want help now and they expect fast service. And missed calls equal lost revenue. The old methods, oh, pardon me, my slide skipped. The old methods of slow follow-up, like for instance, you know, someone fills out a form on your website and then you get back to them the following day, the lead goes cold. There's too many faster options out there where that's just not going to cut it anymore. And so the transition is that companies that dominate by answering faster, providing more self-service options, qualify better, and schedule more jobs, they can do all of this without adding more staff using AI and automation. So AI is not replacing your crew yet, but it is replacing missed opportunities. So it does give us the opportunity, 24/7 availability to respond to leads and actually talk back and forth with leads. So we're not talking about automated messages, but we're talking very human interactions. Next month in November, just to give you an example, a lot of you have Alexa and in your homes, and the current version of Alexa is pretty weak compared to, say, ChatGPT or you know, Claude in terms of AI, but they're actually stepping it up and making the new Alexa that comes out in November an AI version, where you're going to be able to talk back and forth with Alexa just like a regular person. And so it's going to be able to like do a lot more. And so the same thing with local contractor businesses, excavation and septic, is whether you're calling, you're dealing through web chat, you're dealing through text message, you're dealing through Facebook Messenger, all those types of conversations to start are shifting to AI at a very rapid pace. So this technology, it integrates across your websites, your ad campaigns, social media, and your phones. And your CRM should have AI capabilities. So I would be curious, if your current CRM that you use has AI capabilities, go ahead and type a 1 in the QA. And every minute saved in follow-up is a minute gained in revenue. I'm going to go over some stats, some recent stats that we found in a moment on the use of AI and response rates and how that corresponds to revenue. So here's how AI and automation works in septic marketing and excavation, for that matter. The flow is a lead comes in, and then AI responds. It will then qualify the lead, book an appointment, and then send the confirmation and reminders. So that was typically your office receptionist job or an office admin. But these are things that are being done right now. And I got a real cool example I want to show you in just a little bit. So stay tuned for that. And this gives you the ability not to have to hire on extra staff now. And so, for instance, pumping jobs for self-service. The AI has the ability to look up a customer, find corresponding tank data, and give checkout options put in a schedule. And a lot of this stuff may sound like you need crazy custom programming and databases and things like that. But how it works is more so with like Google Sheets. You can do lookups using that. So it's already at a point where it doesn't require, hundreds of thousands of dollars of investment in new software and custom programming. The technology already exists to integrate with like Google Sheets and have things like this up and running, where it can actually go through the cells in a spreadsheet, if that makes sense, look up a customer name or look them up by phone or email, see where they're at as far as like, if we're talking about septic systems, the tank size, and then attribute a dollar amount to that. And then there's voice AI, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. And that is used for callbacks. So it's also used for inbound calls. And it's very effective, for instance, at weeding out robocalls, which is a serious annoyance. But callback misleads within 5 minutes or less. And it has the ability to confirm job type, sales pre-qualification, checks availability of the schedule, and then schedules the job. And an example of this that we're seeing is companies using voice AI see a 58% higher lead to job conversion. So I want to show you an example of this in action. So you can get a feel for the technology and how it's working. So I'm going to make sure that I share my screen with sound. And we can play through an AI appointment booking from A to Z. So in other words, someone goes on a website or clicks on a paid ad, they fill out a pre-qualifying form with their information, and then the AI calls them back within a couple minutes to then schedule the appointment. And in this, this is a live example, a real example, and the company name that this is a client of ours. The company name is bleeped out. Because that's sensitive information, but at least you guys can see how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and play it, and hopefully it plays over the webinar here.
Sergeant Nessen.
Hi, Larry. My name's Scott, the AI bot with. I got a form from you on that you requested a free consult for your septic system. Do you remember doing that?
Yeah, I do.
Great. Thanks for confirming. Do you have 2 minutes to talk right now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. To help us better assist you, can you confirm if you're the property owner where the septic system will be installed?
Yeah, I just don't know if you can legally put one in because I'm on city sewer.
Thanks for letting me know. That's a good question, and definitely something a specialist can help you figure out. Before we set up a call, can you tell me how many bedrooms the home has or will have?
The home has 2 bedrooms and a small office that sometimes they would consider it a third, but there's only one person living here. So I would be looking for a septic system to back up for just one person.
Thanks for sharing that info. One more quick question. If we can help and the septic solution meets all your conditions of satisfaction, including price, when would you want to start?
Probably before winter.
Got it. Thanks. I can have one of our septic specialists give you a call to walk through everything and answer all your questions. Would that work for you?
That'd be great.
Perfect. What day and time would work best for the call with our specialist? Morning or afternoon is fine, whatever's easiest for you.
Morning usually works pretty good. I have to work. I do volunteer work in the evening and the afternoon, so.
Thanks for letting me know. Let me check what morning times we have available. Here are a few morning time slots we have open tomorrow. 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., 10 a.m. Would any of those work well for you?
Yeah, 10 a.m. would work good.
Just to confirm, you'd like to book the call for tomorrow at 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
You're all set. Our septic specialist will call you tomorrow at 10 a.m. I have scheduled your appointment, and you will get a text and email reminder. Thanks for your time, and goodbye for now. Okay. So, pretty cool, right? The thing is that we have hundreds of calls like this. And you heard in the beginning of that demo, that real example, that the AI did say it was a bot. You would be surprised how many people actually miss that, and they will be telling their whole life story to the AI. Now, what's really cool about AI and the technology is how it's programmed. That it is programmed on, for instance, your website, on industry data, on PDFs. It's programmed on spreadsheets. Just to give you an idea, so you upload these things similar to how you would with ChatGPT, for those of you using like professional version of ChatGPT or Claude. It works in the same fashion. So then it has an avatar of your business and everything you do. And then it can be programmed what to say, what not to say. If you're comfortable giving pricing options, you can upload spreadsheets with pricing options and things, and then it knows that. So that is a really cool thing about the AI. And now, the questions that are asked that you heard might be different from questions you would want to ask. So how this example worked is it was based off of an inbound form, and then the AI's job was to book the appointment, but first pre-qualify the lead to make sure that the responses that this gentleman gave matched what was in the form. So it did a pretty good job of that, and the guy even expressed some extra concerns that, he wasn't sure if it could happen, if he could get the septic tank because he's in the sewer where they have city sewer. And so the salesperson going out to sell the job would have that information, and they could actually look that up in advance before the appointment. And this way, they knock out two birds with one stone, and they can go ahead and address that pre-sale. And so that's one way that it can be used. Let's keep going here. I'm going to keep going through the slides. And if you guys do have questions on this, you can type in that Q&A as things come up in your mind, and we can talk about them. So some ideas of how this is being used right now is to greet website visitors, because the majority of your website visitors, for instance, are not going to call you. They're going to click on your website and click away. So if you can engage with them That increases conversions of leads, and more leads is more opportunities to sell your services. And so a website chatbot can greet the visitors, and it can ask the right questions to make sure that it is a pre-qualified lead and book an appointment right there. It can also use the same technology through SMS. And so how we see people reaching out to septic and excavation companies right now, for the most part, is four ways. One is they do like to call. The second really common way is they like to reach out by text message. And the next way would be to fill out a form, because they're busy, so they want to fill out a form and have someone call them back, which you saw an example of that. And the other way would be through web chat. But those are the main ways. And so that same technology that you saw from the phone call is the same exact technology that talks with them through SMS and talks with them through web chat. Now you notice that that AI bot sounded a lot like me. That's another thing, is that you can have the AI sound like whoever you want. You could have it sound, like the President of the United States. I don't know how legal that probably, of course that's not legal, but I'm saying that is, you can change the voice based on whatever you want, is how it works. And of course you can use it with Facebook Messenger integration. Instagram also has Messenger integration as well. Same as Facebook. All platforms will be soon to follow with this. And it works while you're on another job site too, which is cool. Because some of you are obviously still out in the field, or you may be giving a quote or a site visit. And so during that hour and a half span or whatever that you're doing a site visit, talking with a client, you're probably not going to take those calls when you're face to face with someone. And so it's nice to have the AI working in the background to qualify leads and book appointments, so you or your sales team doesn't need to chase. So is this making sense to you guys so far? Are you getting value out of this? Give me a 1 in the QA box. Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you. So we're going to talk a little bit in a moment about how this is set up and what that looks like. But a multi-channel AI follow-up is really what you're after. That you, as a business, have all of these platforms, from Facebook to Instagram to your website, texting. You have your CRMs. You've got Service Titan or Jobber or House Call Pro. Okay? And so you want the AI to be able to handle that. And so we're going to get into that in a moment. But for instance, multi-channel AI follow-up. So Facebook Messenger AI, I'm going to give you some use cases. This would be perfect for your ads and retargeting. SMS has a 98% open rate, and people respond quickly to that. So using AI within your text messages is a really good way to go. It also works with your emails, and I didn't mention that before. So as people reply back to your emails, it can read through your emails and then respond back accordingly. And I know that the worry is, well, geez, what if it says the wrong thing? Or so this is where like testing comes in and using it for the right use case. And then I think giving yourself some leeway depending on which avenue you're going, to let people know that it's AI. I think that's very important. Because, for instance, you heard that appointment being booked just a moment ago, and it said, "Hey, this is Scott, the AI bot." That way, if God forbid something real bad comes out, you can blame it on the AI that, "Hey, hello, this was actually not a human. This was AI that you were talking to. It did announce that up front." Now, that hasn't happened yet, but I'm saying if it did, if someone really tried to throw a monkey wrench in the system, at least you would have that way out. So I do think it's smart that wherever you're having AI communicate with people, that you do let them know up front and not try and trick them. And you don't have to call it an AI bot. You could call it an AI assistant. You could just say, "Hey, I'm AI." That works just as well. The thing is, it satisfies the need that people want it now. They want their answers now. They want their service now. And if they value speed in most cases rather than a personal connection for some types of services. Email, you can nurture long-term leads. And AI keeps conversations alive until the customer says yes. Now, the big thing, I think the biggest value is to your time. As business owners, as CEOs, we all have the same amount of hours in a day. And so the AI works really well. Now, many of you use CRMs. And in those CRMs, you may have call recordings. Well, someone's got to click the play button on those call recordings to listen to them. Instead, you can use AI transcripts for a summary of the calls. And then this way, you know what it's about. And you might want to do this to grade customer satisfaction. You might want to do this to grade leads of, who's hot, who's not, what are they calling about. So if you have a bunch of calls coming in and a CRM full of numbers and some names and you don't know what's what, you can have AI transcripts of each call so you can quickly go through and just see what it's about and have a summary. That's a really nice feature of AI. So efficiency and time saving, no more chasing voicemails. And so like a workflow would be if a call comes in and it goes to voicemail, you can have a missed call text back if you're on the phone. And that missed call text back can be AI. "Hey, sorry I missed your call. I want to make sure you've been helped. How can I help you?" And have the AI ready to respond by text to whatever they say to do the pre-qualifying for you. And I think that a lot of this stuff really boils down to comfort, that until you're using it day in and day out repetitively, it seems a bit scary and unreal. I've personally been using it myself now for over a year, really strong. So it takes a little getting used to, but it's at a point now that if you've got it programmed right, it's going to work well like 95% of the time. Eliminates repetitive questions and answers. Do you guys do my service area? Do you guys do this? Do you do that? What's this going to cost? It eliminates those repetitive type of questions. It will fill your calendar while you're focusing on field work. So we're using it right now through chat, through calls to book appointments on both inbound and outbound calls. works really well for that, where it pre-qualifies the lead and then books an appointment with that lead at a certain time, and then the business owner or their estimator calls that lead at the appointment time. And so basically how we do it is it syncs up to your Google Calendar or Outlook calendar with the appointments. And then this way, instead of chasing leads, you or your estimator can just call the lead at the time they requested and see all their information of how they filled out a form for the job. Now, before AI, the only options that we had was to call the leads manually. And if you think about it, I mean, how many leads get missed by doing that? So by having automation and AI in place, you never miss a lead. So after AI, for instance, out of 30 leads, AI on average has been qualifying 8, doing the pre-qualifications and booking the appointments. So that's pretty decent percentage, all on autopilot. So next I want to talk about how AI enhances your paid ads return on investment. Most contractors waste ad spend from slow follow-up. They did a study on this recently that 78% of jobs go to first responders. And after 5 minutes, your odds of getting ghosted on that lead jump dramatically, like in the 90 percentile. I've got some stats coming up for all of you that are into that. But AI touches every lead within minutes. So how we do it is we usually have it reach back out. If someone, for instance, fills out a form, it will call them within 2 minutes of filling out the form. It builds trust automatically. Now that's probably debatable for some, but for those who are busy and value, time efficiency and just getting straight to the point that, hey, I have a need, I want to know if you can satisfy that or not. It builds trust because, I did this, I had an interest in your services, I did this. Let's face it, how many contractors don't even bother calling back? Okay, so now the AI builds trust because it's immediately calling back or it's immediately responding through text or through web chat or through email. And one stat we found is that responding in 5 minutes increases conversions by up to 9 times. So here's some stats. I was looking for this on speed to lead. So 78% of buyers choose the vendor who responds first. Responding within 1 minute boosts conversions by 391%. And then responding within 5 minutes makes leads 8 times more likely to qualify. Only 7% of companies respond that fast. So most do not. And for those who are early adopters of this type of technology, they fall into that 7%. And I think that's huge because then you're really beating all your competitors. What's this going to look like a year from now, 5 years from now? I think it's going to be a total shift. I think it's going to be 93% of companies respond that fast and only 7% don't. As fast as this technology is moving and as fast as people are adopting AI. So how how AI helps you book more jobs faster. AI scheduling has shown to deliver 318% ROI within 6 months. Businesses see 27 to 120% increases in revenue with AI appointment systems. That just makes sense. Speed to lead. The person literally doesn't have time to go call a competitor because you have the AI calling them within 2 minutes of filling the form. It can even be instant. We've even tested that, where as soon as they fill out the form, they get a call. That works too. We're still testing that though. 37% drop in first response time after adopting AI. And AI can boost appointment bookings by 300 to 400%. So here's a real world septic example. The challenge is we had a client losing 40% of ad leads to competitors. We implemented AI callbacks to their leads, an SMS chat bot with auto booking, and the AI with auto booking. And the result was the lead to job rate jumped from 21% to 58%, adding 3 to 5 installs per month without adding more staff. So here's what the AI tech stack looks like for septic business and excavation contractors. You have a voice AI callback software. You have a website chatbot. You have an SMS automation, Facebook Messenger bots, a calendar scheduling tool, usually hooked up to your Google or Outlook, a CRM, and then you integrate it with any software like Service Titan, Jobber, or House Call Pro, usually through a Zapier connection. That's the entire tech stack. So overcoming the common objections. Customers won't like robots. That's a very common thing that we've heard from our clients, and some natural resistance. But what we found is that, the voice AI sounds so human, especially if you model it after someone. And people prefer the speed. They know it's AI. They don't care. They prefer the speed. Other people don't want to adopt it because they say, well, I'm just too busy to adopt AI. And that's exactly why you need AI. Is you're too busy. You're trying to juggle too many hats on your own. Action steps for you. So I would, if I were you, audit your follow-up speed over the next week or so. From the time that people call in, say it goes to voicemail, to an email that you get, to a form fill that you get, to a Facebook Messenger message you get. Start clocking yourself on how long it takes you to get back to people. And bear in mind that anything over 5 minutes is unacceptable, because the research shows us by that time, your odds of getting ghosted are up near 100% anyway. They're just going to go somewhere else. So I would audit that and see if AI and automation would help you out in that way. And then I would take that information, I would find leaks in your processes. Are you losing leads? Are they getting missed? Are you not following up with leads enough? The typical touch that we see is 5 to 7 times before a lead turns into an appointment or a customer. So are you following up with leads 5 to 7 times? If you're not, then automation and AI would take that over. And I would say don't go crazy. Try starting with just one AI tool, just so you can get your feet wet and get something working. Integrate it with your calendar and CRM. This way you can start using it to book appointments. And then track and scale. So the future is here. AI adoption in service businesses is doubling yearly. And early adopters of this will own their local markets. And I think the main takeaway that I would have for you guys and gals watching this is the fastest to respond wins. With AI, that's you. So if there's any questions, go ahead and type them into chat or the Q&A box, and I'd be happy to answer them for you if I can, or point you in the right direction. Now, I have this announcement for next month. We're going to be doing your 2026 Internet Marketing Plan. So I would stay tuned for that. And that webinar is usually about an hour and a half to 2 hours. But what we do that's really cool is we provide you with a workbook for that and a full comprehensive plan live in that workshop. We go over everything, a 1-year marketing blueprint. And that is our most popular workshop of the entire year. Everyone wants to get their marketing and their systems dialed in for next year. So stay tuned for that. And there will be an announcement coming up next month, similar to this, where you can join us and take advantage of that. All right. So that's pretty much it. I want to thank you so much for your time and joining us today. Have a great rest of your day. Let me see if there's any questions coming in. Chris is asking, do you have a done-for-you software? Yeah, we actually have designed one specifically for excavation and septic. And so if you have an interest in that, I can have someone reach out to you, Chris, no problem. And there's another question I see. How do we get the tank info? So ideally, what you would want to be doing, for instance, is having that information already in customer notes or in a database. And if you have it in customer notes, for instance, you could create a Google Sheet and have all that information for each customer in the Google Sheet, and then train the AI to look up the cells for that. And then you would have the tank size. So I appreciate that, Chris. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. And any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us or schedule a call. All righty. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
Hey there, excavation pros. If you enjoyed today's podcast, make sure to like and subscribe to our podcast and channel. Leave us your feedback and let us know how we did. And hey, if you're interested in taking your excavation or septic business to the next level online, make sure you visit excavationmarketingpros.com today and take advantage of our free resources and mastermind group for excavation and septic industry professionals.